Okay, so this stream will start at 9 o'clock. If you come in here, fine. You're going to have to wait until then. So I'll be right back. I'll let you guys hear what's going on over there in a second. Let me get going just a moment. All right, guys. So I got the other stream going. Let's go. We about to get the video popping and go from here. Let's see. All right, here we go.
This is DJ What the Ass, I'm the hottest artist on the planet, beat 'em up. Haines here. Because I'm gonna let you know, you're in the water, you're gonna die. Illuminati dies here today, Mom.
It's a shark in the zoo. They say in Babylon, put the mark on him too. His whole body light so we can maul other guys. If my RC and I going dark on me too. And them coffers for you. I'm ready so the devil who I call out first. I heard God call it, said behind the great wall. He I made a sword off to kick them all off earth. Hey, so my clique don't play. Heaven gotta choose the wolf or the lamb. Get shot down by a pig in the street. Why do niggas gotta beef when it's a whole lot of hell? Alright. It's a hole in the dam. They can't flood Merc, so they shoot down gangs. Merc fly high, baby, Merc won't die. I don't see nobody here that can shoot down planes. It's like I shoot down veins. You're turning everybody in the hood to an addict. You look 6th grade to a bully with a hat. Cause I'm a switchblade or a fully automatic. Let's go. It's only 2 ways out. Don't ever try to sit or think of running cause you can't go. It's only screaming die while you running out of tank. Oh, screaming try bitch while you running out the bank. Cause my click don't pay. I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. The hoe act right like she came with an Emmy. She want black pipe cause she came with the Remy. Ain't no pain even in me. You probably wouldn't know why I blow back cause there's 5 knockouts when there's 5 cops out. Or it's 5 shots out from the big bad wolf. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I do a clip in the cave and I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I do a clip in the cave and I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say this is the only way I know to handle this. A whole lot of guns and a whole lot of cannons.
We all sub up to the brother. Get him up over 1,000 so they can get him in the algorithm. They be trying to keep him down to make sure y'all go sub up. This how we do.
Shots fired at ScrewTube, but shots out to you, Carbon Babies. This is your melanated warrior, Haines. And this is another installment of Facts Over Feelings. Leave your feelings at the door so we can get to the facts, because the facts are the only things that matter. I know, yeah, y'all, it's stuff is kind of crazy. I'm gonna wait for some people to get in here. If y'all can redirect them to this channel, we're gonna try to make this happen. Yeah, YouTube put a strike on, they gave me a warning. They said, look, nigga, that's too controversial. You talk about somebody a plague, that's too controversial. So yeah, I'm gonna wait just a second to see, if a few people can get into the chat. I know it's late, man. We're this is not even fashionable. Like, this is just ridiculous. This is not even right. You know what I'm saying? So hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can wait. Yeah, I know. I hope you tighten up, nigga. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Listen, but they wouldn't let me stream. They restricted me. They wouldn't let me stream because of the title.
Fast forward a little bit. Hold on.
They wouldn't let me stream.
Let's fast forward a little because I definitely get to the.
I don't think they're gonna mention Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay, let's.
And they did. They did in one powerful scene too, and it was powerful. So basically, to get the gist of it, the storyline is, you had Europeans flood to Oklahoma when they discovered that it was oil. There was this black gold rush for the most part, and what the Blanco men were doing was taking advantage of the women, marrying into the tribes supposedly, and I'm explaining why it was so easy for them to be able to do that. Okay, they married into the tribes. and plain and simple, just to marry the women so that they can kill them off, so that they can take their money, right? Their oil money. So it was crazy how it was all going down, because
we've been talking about the oil, y'all.
Obviously, you get lost in the characters, and the crazy part about it is they just had this blind trust to these, to these European men. This blind trust. I mean, you already seen that there was already a pattern where people were dying and coming up, under very questionable circumstances, but yet these women would still readily marry these men. Now, the illusion that the movie gives, which we got to tackle, which obviously isn't in the movie, but these are the things that once you tackle history. The illusion that we have to tackle is that they made it seem or appear like this was the first time Blancos came into the contact with these Indians when they reached up to Oklahoma. We know this is we know that that's very untrue, because we know the history. We know that Blancos or the Europeans were coming in contact with the so-called Native Americans or the Indians in the 15th and 16th centuries. The 15th and 16th centuries, they were intermingling, they were intermarrying. We know the story about Pocahontas, so we got to let the Blanco know.
Wait, don't come in disrupting. Who is this? Kusa Dese Happy. Who is this, y'all? Didi. Who this in the chat? Somebody handle that. I don't know what's going on up there, but half-breed is king. So you're a half-breed and you think you're king? Watch your mouth first off, because you can get your ass out of here. Let's do that. We ain't gonna do that. You better turn it around real quick. If not, it's a wrap. That's number one. Strike one, there won't be a two.
On your ass. We're not gonna let you do that. We're not gonna let you do that and act like you done made a movie and it was your first time coming into contact with these Indians who just newly discovered oil on their land. Now, if you know about anything about the 5 civilized tribes, and I wrote them down just to make sure I didn't forget them, was Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, Choctaw, and Seminole. Now, let's not argue about the names. You know, the Blanco's been naming everything, so we can't get caught up into that. But one thing is interesting, you take a look at the word, or the name Seminole. Seminole means runaway. That's even in the Encyclopedia Britannica under Black Seminoles. Seminole meant runaway. All right, so how could a runaway be a tribe? We don't know, but we'll just, let them get away with that. But the point is that when you take a look at these 5 tribes, notice the title that they gave them, the civilized tribe. First thing that should pop in your head, especially when you know the true definition of Seminole, how could a runaway be civilized? That's the whole point. They ran away. They're disobeying, or they uncivilized in your eyes, and they're actually someone who can't be controlled, and that's rebellious because they ran away. So it just goes to show you what they mean is that over time they had conditioned these individuals through indoctrinating them with their religion, conditioning them with their education, and surrounding them with their hospital and their foods. Over 50 years or 100 years or so, they had become civilized, or they had assimilated into European culture. And the way that they had did that, and the only way that you can do that is if you lighten up your skin. Because what you see in the movie is this idea being propagated by these characters is if they're just these, they had this chasm in terms of color shades. Like, there's even one character in the movie when they were sitting down at the table, and he was looking at the kids, and he was like, the children was like, oh, they're dark. Look how dark that one is versus the other one. And they damn near were indistinguishable in terms of skin color. But this is what you have. This is what's so deep. So I'm like, man, if they think that child is dark, they must think I'm jet black. It was just ridiculous stuff, right? But okay, so let's get into what the biggest part, the meat of it. One of the things that you got to understand is if
you guys saw the movie Killers of the Flower Moon, which is really a story about the Osage Indians. We've read about them before. The Osage I think it has some reference of the Creek and the Seminole as far as the history on the story. But they commercialized it with the TV, but a lot of it is some of the truth. But keep in mind, if anyone has seen this movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, I haven't seen it, so this is my first time. I've seen the brother talking about it. I said, I was going to check it out. but I wasn't that interested because I heard a lot of negative stuff. I know for sure that the actual one of the tribes are actually suing the movie company for even making the movie. So it's a lot of controversy and stuff going on with this movie. So I said I'm gonna just see what the brother reviewed on it and see what he say about it. I'll see if I'm gonna watch it, if it's worth watching. But yeah, let's go.
They're called the Osage, right? It's called, the name
Say
of the movie is
Osage.
Killers
I
of the
say
Flower Moon.
Osage.
Now, the Flower Moon is what, and they start writing this down in the Farmer's Almanac at around 1930. They got that description from the Indians or the Native Americans. The Native Americans or the Indians at the time would call the full moon right in May. Yeah, I believe it's in the month of May. They will call that full moon the flower moon because then you see spring approaching. That's when you see all of the flowers. So that's the point of that title. So the name of the movie is called Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, what you have to understand is, especially when you learn about the proximity in terms of how close the Osage County was to Tulsa, they were 20 miles apart. They were 20 miles apart. Okay, now this is the big thing. We're going to go take a look at an article from the Oklahoma Historical Society on the Osage, right? On the Osage. So just give me 1 second. And I know Old hate this. He like, you gotta look, listen.
And just to clarify, it is the Osage, because I said because every time I read it, I always say the Osage or the Osage, if anybody's ever heard me. Now he said the Osage, and I'm like, okay, who's saying it correct? So I just checked it, and it is the Osage Indians. Just to verify, he's correct. The Osage Indians. So I hope I can remember that next time. Let's go.
From the movies, and I decided to do this. So y'all definitely gotta, bear with me on this one, because man, all of this stuff is powerful. All this stuff is powerful. And trust me, it's not going to be any problem bringing it up. Okay. Not going to be any problem bringing it up. Okay. Now, when it says trust and betrayal in Osage County, Osage Country. All right. Now I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to get into it. When you watch the movie's going to make it out to be like, oh, they were the wealthiest and the richest people on the planet. They were the wealthiest and the richest people on the planet. Nothing could be further from the truth. They were not, and you got to understand too, when you look into your research, they'll let you know that they were sold that land. They were sold that land by the by the Creek Nation, right? The Creek Nation was a confederate of tribes and different Indians and stuff. Of that Creek Nation, they lump in some Seminoles oftentimes, right? So the Seminoles, we know, were kicked out of Florida. We have to know about the longest war in American history, which was the Gullah Wars. I believe it's somewhere between 1739 and 1858. The longest and most expensive war in Europe, in United States history, that they obviously choose to ignore and not talk about. So the Seminoles were kicked out, and a lot of them still refused to leave, right? But the vast majority of them went on the Trail of Tears with other Indians. They settled in Oklahoma. These Creek Indians end up selling land to the Osage, right? The Osage Indians end up buying land. And then obviously, you know that they were interacting with one another because they bought land and settled 20 miles away from Tulsa. They bought land and settled. And mind you, when the killings had occurred, they occurred at the same time as the Tulsa massacre. This is deep.
It occurred at the same time during and I got the articles too. So I'm just leading it up because I want y'all to see some of these very powerful articles.
Remember, I showed you guys.
So it happened at the same time as the Tulsa massacres, right? Now,
remember the pictures I showed y'all a couple of weeks ago when the U.S. Army was even marching down the street, forcing them out of their town. You guys remember that? You guys remember when they forced them out of the town? They had the U.S. Army come in. They was helping the white folks force them out. They was burning them up. They was cutting off their limbs. All this weird stuff. Y'all don't remember that? Do y'all remember that? They was also, well, we read it in the book also. They were saying how they were taking them. The police was forcing them into a alley that you couldn't escape from. They had a wall. And when they forced them into the alley, they had the white people there, the white tea people there waiting with guns and knives, and they was beating them to death, and the kids, the women. Y'all remember that? Yeah, don't forget that. This is all the same timeline. Let's go.
We're going to pull up an article to show you that the movie misleads you because they're like, oh, they were the wealthiest Indians. They were the wealthiest people on the planet. But if they were wealthy because of oil, you have to know how could that be the case? Because Tulsa, Oklahoma was considered oil capital of the world. So if oil was...
And let's just keep in mind, what about Miss Sarah Rector, right? The young, richest indigenous white little girl. She was classified as a white woman because she was so rich. She was a billionaire. She was an oil tycoon. What about her? Y'all remember her? I told you about Miss Sarah Barton, right? So when we're thinking about that, am I saying the right name? I gotta check that too. Y'all know I forget names. I'll mix that shit up. I know there's the lady with the that they had in the zoo. They just released her body. I think that was Sarah Barton. What was that lady's name? It's Sarah. But I'll check and I'll put it in the chat for you guys because I want to make sure I'm telling y'all the right name. But I believe it's Sarah. No, Sarah Rector. That was her name. Okay, I know. It was Sarah Rector. Y'all, I want to clarify that. I'm sorry. Sarah Rector. She was an oil tycoon. Y'all can look this up. She was the richest. She was labeled the richest. She was labeled a white as a classification because she was a landowner and the oil, she had all the oil, and they married her off to a white tea man. She had no children. They took over her oil. Let's go. Y'all heard that story before. If you haven't, please look it up.
That's how they got their riches, and Tulsa was the oil capital of the world. We know somebody lying. But see, you don't want black people to know that, just like they were doing in Osage County. White folks in this movie, because it's based off historical events, white folks in this movie were the butlers and the maids, driving cabs, serving these Indians, just like they were doing for black folks in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Making the Indians look like
just like they were doing for black folks in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to go right to this article too. Hold on for a second. Let's get to it. Good sound too, Sistar. Appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, somebody said no sound. Hold on. Do we got sound? Do we have sound? Hold on. We better have sound.
He always got an agent in this.
We didn't have no sound.
Be doing this stupid shit, talking about something wrong with his sound. Don't shit be wrong with the damn sound. He gonna need to just start ignoring their ass. Real talk.
Oh my goodness.
They always doing that to the brother. Got him distracted.
All right. One's in the chat if you guys can hear me. Man, this is disastrous. They got me starting an hour late, then they already had it on. Okay. I'm gonna wait. We good? All right. One's in the chat if you guys can hear me. Okay, so you guys didn't hear. I basically was talking for 20 minutes, and you guys.
Do you see this distraction? Do y'all see this distraction they did?
Was I talking for all this time and nobody could hear me?
I'm mad I wasn't in that chat to see who that was. Be like, brother, you know they're Asian, right? Like, real talk. What be going on with these people?
All right, but did you guys hear much of what I was talking about?
Still got distracted. Soon as he on point, here they.
So nobody heard me.
And they ain't heard it.
I'm gonna wait because obviously you know it's a delay.
I'm real confused right now.
Did you guys hear much of what I was talking about? So nobody heard me. All right, so let's just recap just a little bit. The movie, obviously, we talking about Killers of the Flower Moon. Okay, no, it's when you showed the article. When I showed the article, that's when, okay, we missed the article part. It's a delay. Sound went out briefly. Okay, all right, we're gonna recap
Now
just
they
right
got them
quick. All right,
echoing. Oh man, that was
now this is
wild.
the thing that we were
Y'all see
talking
how
about. We were
wild that
talking about
was?
Killers of the
Got
Flower
the man
Moon,
echoing the
right?
whole
And
nine. This shit
it's
was
based on the
serious.
book. Flower Moon
Let me
means.
drop this in the chat. This
Hold
is
on,
Sarah
hold on a
Rector's
second.
story, guys. Pick that up real quick. Check it
I'm
out.
getting an echo.
Now, when y'all pick that up, don't be alarmed when y'all see a guy looking like a
I'm getting an
slave and
echo.
shit. Now, she was a billionaire, an oil tycoon, and this the picture they got of her. Come on, stop playing with this woman. But either way, we get the gist of it.
Now I want to make
Peace.
sure.
There go the brother right there. Peace, brother.
I want to
Peace,
make
peace.
sure. Yeah, I just have to cut that off. Now, because I'll look here. I'll look here. I'm trying to get rid of my echo, you guys. Man, this is, let's
Brother,
do
I
this,
was
man.
just telling you came right on
I hate
time.
that.
I don't know who this agent is in your chat.
I
Your
hate that.
shit
But
was
let's
clear
get it.
as
Let's
hell.
get it.
And
Because
they
we got
got
some
you all
powerful
distracted,
information, man.
had
We're
you
not going to
looking,
allow this to
playing.
stop
Now they got
everybody
your
right now.
thing
We can't allow
echoing.
this to stop.
I'm like, man, come on with this.
We can't allow
Do
this
you
to
hear
stop.
this shit, bro? You
All right. Now, the thing is, this is what's going on. All
crazy.
right, when it comes to the movie, the movie is called Killers of the Flower Moon. Obviously, if you look at this concept, was really promoted by what was called the farm. Everybody's familiar with the Farmer's Almanac. Farmer's
Shout out
Almanac
to
got
brother
that
in the
term from
chat
Indians.
coming
Indians
through
use
while he's chilling.
the Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, the flower moon, to indicate that was the
Yeah,
first full
agent.
moon,
Agent.
in May. To give them the idea that this is when the spring was coming or approaching. That's why it's called Flower Moon, because they would see a lot of flowers. Okay, and so we've already established too that the Osages, who these individuals were, they were a lot of the indigenous or Native Americans, amongst many other tribes that were pushed out due to the Indian Removal Act, of 1830. Okay, so they end up settling in Oklahoma. That land was sold to them by what they called the Creek Indians. The Creek Indians were a conglomerate or confederate of tribes. A lot of times they pack the Seminoles into that. Seminole means runaway. So how can a runaway be a part of a tribe, especially even part of what they call the civilized tribe? They had something called the 5 civilized tribes. I read them off to you. The 5 civilized tribes were the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Creek, the Choctaw, and the Seminole. All right. So now in 1874, they established, I think a little bit before that, but it was called the Bureau of Indian Affairs. They handled all of these things, right? Because once they discovered that it was oil in Oklahoma, then you had these European settlers now raiding Oklahoma to get a part of the wealth. Now, what was going on, what the movie kind of alludes to, but it doesn't really clarify, is that these oil tycoons were leasing the land and giving royalties to these Indians, right? Now, this is another thing. Now that we know that the Seminoles and all of those individuals who come from Florida, which had black blood in them, went off into, Tulsa, Oklahoma. They end up selling land to the Osage Indians, selling land to them. And that's why they were close in proximity to one another, being 20 miles away from Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is deep because this is going to set the stage for all of this. 20 miles away. Remind you, these massacres started occurring at the same time. The massacre of Tulsa, Oklahoma is around 1920, 1921. These massacres occurred around the same time. Okay. Also, this movie leads you to believe that they were the richest people on earth. And how did they accumulate this wealth and get this wealth? Through the royalties that they were getting from the oil, right? In this movie, they show you that these folks who came to sit up there working for these Indians, right? They were the butlers, they were the maids, they were the cab drivers, they were the janitors. They were basically low on the totem.
When we know damn well that these damn crackers was not no low on the totem pole, had us low on the totem pole. They got this whole story ass backwards like they do with every damn thing else. Now I want y'all to click this link on Miss Sarah Rector, right? And check it out. Look at this. This is the ignorance of it all. When you look at her picture that they have up there showing of her, it shows you this little slave girl. She got these rags on. She got this nappy hair hanging from the side. Like, really? That's how they're going to play this billionaire that was an oil tycoon? And y'all mean to tell me that that's what she was looking like? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. All right, let's go.
Totem pole in terms of if it was anything such as class. They were the lowest on the totem pole. Now, this is one of the reasons why they can't let you know this about Tulsa, Oklahoma, because you bet to believe when they interacted with our people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they were the butlers, they were the maids, they were the cab drivers, they were the janitors, while our people were living at the top of their game. Okay, this is important. Now, we talked about in Oklahoma, I read a little of the Oklahoma Historical Society, that article that I pulled up. It talked about the guy who wrote the book. It obviously also mentioned that that was also the birth or around the time of the birth of the FBI. This was the FBI's first case. Okay, this was the FBI's first case investigating these murders. But we're gonna show you that, you know, this Blanco don't ever do nothing out of the kindness of his heart. All right, that's one thing that you got.
Ain't got no damn heart.
Plagues, because the movie gets real interesting and it connects with all of the information that I've been giving you guys in the last few videos that I posted to YouTube. All right, so we're gonna go off into some, because remember, what we're gonna do is dispel some myths. When you look at these movies, they know the power of iconography. Like I said before, they wanted us to get the impression that these Indians, Native Americans, or the indigenous were damn near white, damn near bright. Nothing could be further from the truth. Later on, maybe that was the case, because they lead you to believe that when these Europeans got to Oklahoma, when they got to Oklahoma in Osage County and got to Tulsa and stuff, they were interacting with Indians who weren't already conditioned. They were already eating the Blancos' food. They were already indoctrinating their kids in the Blanco schools. Most of them were already Christian. This is important, because this gets you to understand. You like, dang, they come in there, they're purposely marrying the women, and they're killing them. Even they're also killing the children. So that they're killing their own children that they're reproducing with these individuals, just to make sure, not all of them, but some of them, just to make sure that they got the inheritance, just to make sure that they got the oil money.
This brother's so fire. I got to shout the brother out. Peace, brother. I'm glad you had time to tap in real quick. I know you're working. I appreciate you jumping in the chat. The brother just said something. He said this before, and I heard it, and I said, oh, I'm going to ask him about that. I didn't hear the word clear. So he said, iconography. I want to give you guys a definition of that. The definition is the virtual images and symbols used in the work of art or the study of interpretation of these. It says also in number 2, a collection of illustration or portraits. Now, how many times, somebody press 1 in the chat if y'all know he talking about the mental and spiritual alchemy. I keep telling y'all that they use with these pictures. This is alchemy. The iconography that the brother keeps speaking of, when he says that, he's talking about this alchemy, guys. It's the mental alchemy that is put on you. It is the writing of information literally on your brain. Right? The brain mapping. When the brain mapping comes in and starts writing on your brain, you know, it's a picture that's been put there. Now that becomes a part of your reality. So using this iconography, which is what the brother is saying, that is alchemy in a form to make your mind mold to the truth that they want you to perceive. You know, putting the idealistics of this in the mind, so on and so forth, creating their story, their history, which we know Tory goes into the patriotism of their lives and stories that they conduct. So now, keeping in mind, this is something that is very important. That's why it's important not to take in certain information and listen to people talking about stupid stuff. Somebody's like, oh, I just listen to the people. You don't got to convince nobody of nothing. If they don't know what you're talking about by now, like in the day and age we're in, if they don't know, it ain't meant for their ears. Keep that in mind. Let's go.
All right. And this movie starts off telling you, literally, and mind you, it's telling you, Martin Scorsese, the one who directed it, is the one you see right before the movie starts. And he's talking about how we tried to make sure that we, you know, got this movie down to the T, and we consulted the Osage and the elders and all this different stuff to make sure that we, you know, showed you these events as closely to the truth as we possibly could. But nothing could be further from the truth, because they start off letting you believe that these people were the richest people on the earth. And as I said, if they accumulated their resources from oil, how come Tulsa and black people wasn't seen as the richest people on the earth, considering the fact that Tulsa, Oklahoma was the oil capital of the world? We're about to bring this up. We're about to bring this up right now. We're about to bring this up. Because this is something that you must know. All right? Okay, where's my notes? My notes? Okay. All right, hold on 1 second, brothers and sisters.
Y'all know, because y'all know that the Indian Territory was all of Oklahoma. This is how I can definitively tell you that Sarah Rector was an Indian. Her ancestors owned the land. That's how she ended up inheriting all of the oil. When her dad died, he was the final relative, and she was the last one to get all of. He was the final relative on her father's side. Her mother's side, she still had family, so on and so forth. But on her father's side, she was the last relative of her dad, so she inherited all of the oil all of the oil, and it was all in Indian territory. It was all in Oklahoma. Look, when y'all look her up and look up the story on Sarah Rector, you're going to see she was in Oklahoma, just exactly what this brother is talking about. Now, how was they walking around maids? And here she was the richest person in the whole damn state. Is y'all serious right now? Stop playing on this woman's name. Stop playing on her life, literally. And here these damn freaking Siberian mutts, they trying to talk about, they said, well, we suing. They made a movie about the flower moon. Sit y'all ass down. What you mean they made the movie about the flower moon? This wasn't y'all shit. Is these people serious right now? They keep playing in our face, y'all. This shit, yo, oh, excuse my mouth, y'all. But this be really taking me somewhere. But yo, let's go. Playing around with us.
Yeah, because this is deep. This is deep.
Real
right
deep.
Here. And this was written by, petroleum pioneers. So
I'm gonna have to do a build and make sure I stand up on her name with this. I might have to do a build on Sarah. I never did a build. I talked about her a lot, but I'm gonna do that because, yeah.
Say, Mia Lynn said,
Real talk, because they straight playing.
Oh yeah. So yeah, said she's seen
This
the movie. Is insane. Oh yeah, the movie is
insane.
insane. The movie is insane.
They
So hold on, let me
focus
pull
on
up
them.
this
Oh,
article.
these poor little.
Because y'all about to see exactly. Oh, this is gonna be so deep. This is so deep. So now let me share my screen, you guys.
It mighty funny. Soon after she got married off to the YT man. Let me add this, right? Not too long, she just demise. She died, Long as Indians live, she had no childbirth issues because she had no children, right? She lived to the age of 65 years old. So more than likely, she probably wasn't even sleeping with the husband because she probably was like, I'll just marry him for support. So, these people don't try to kill me or nothing. This is what I'm thinking. This is my personal story. I never heard this from nobody, but I feel like she married him for security. They probably threatened her. You better marry him. Who knows? But either way, she never had no children with this man. Like, that's real crazy. And then she finally, she ends up dying off, and his whole family get everything that she ever had. Can y'all understand this or make sense of it? Mm-mm-mm. And wait, let me add this part. Let's add to the more insult to injury while the brother's looking for something real quick. They try to say that she her relatives were enslaved Creek Indians, right? And then that they later lived with the tribes and this and that, blah blah blah. And she discovered on her allotment of tribal land this gold. You mean to tell me that wasn't her ancestors' land? You mean to tell me in Indian territory she had all this land with all this wealth of oil on it, this and that? It was like, what are you saying? Crazy. I don't know if something wrong with Brother Mike. Let's try to fast forward it. Maybe he says, hold on a minute. Let's see. Now something is wrong with the mic.
Spindletop discovery in Texas.
When he starts sharing, it's messing up.
You guys can hear me now, though, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
I know that's frustrating.
All right, so when you got that screen, the sound goes off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the power.
All right, let's see.
I want him to share.
Okay.
Let me check the chat. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm thinking everything is all good now because I'm just gonna read the source. All right, so you guys can hear me. All right, so we'll go on now. Okay, this article was from Making Tulsa Oil Capital of the World, Petroleum Pioneers.
Yeah.
Making Tulsa the oil capital of the world. All right. So let's read. Among the great Oklahoma oil field discoveries, the 1905 Glen Pool helped Sinclair, Getty, and others get started. Greater than even the 1901 Spindletop discovery in Texas, Oklahoma Territory's Glen Pool field produced a light and sweet oil from the Creek Indian Reservation. It would help make Tulsa the oil capital of the world. On a chilly fall morning in 1905, 2 years before Oklahoma became a state, oil was discovered on the Glen family farm south of Tulsa. The well launched a drilling boom that greatly exceeded the first Oklahoma oil well of 1897 at Bartlesville. Hundreds of wells were soon producing so much oil that the entire region was soon called the Glen Pool or Glen Pool, now the Tulsa suburb Glenpool. I don't know why they did that twice, because they said Glenpool twice because Glen is spelled with one N on one and then two N's on another. I don't even know why they should think that that's a big thing. But there's an art they're showing the illustration. It says Tulsa, Oklahoma, the oil capital of the world. It says underneath that illustration, by 1920, Tulsa is home to 400 petroleum companies, 2 daily newspapers, 7 banks, 4 telegraph companies, and 10,000 telephones.
The real oil on it.
Let me read that again. By 1920, Tulsa is home to 400 petroleum companies, 2 daily newspapers, 7 banks, 4 telegraph companies, and 10,000 telephones. Now you got to understand, we had modernized. This was America being modernized right in the city where black people are.
Not one damn time.
This is how important this is. Now remember what I told you. 7 banks. When you watch that movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, one thing that you're gonna see that's very
especially since the brother did this, he got me go. I got to do part 2 because I got to cover Sarah Rector and her whole story and how they straight played her and how they trying to play her right now. Okay. Let's clarify something about Miss Sarah Rector, right? She was the very, very, very first Black millionaire in the United States. She was the very first. Not just one of or this, and that. She was the first. Listen, come on, y'all. We gonna cover it.
Disturbing, which they don't really go into. When the Indians go to the bank, they have no control over their money. They need someone called guardians who are mostly white men, right? These guardians tell them when and how much money they can spend. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And if they can even get the money or have access to the money. So when she goes in there, her name is Molly. When Molly goes in there, Molly has to say her name. Then she has to say that she's incompetent. She has to admit that she's incompetent, and she does have no control. She's not competent enough for to spend her money. So they have to control it and parcel it out to her if they even give her the money, right? This is critical. So as you see, the banks were there specifically to make sure that they controlled the money. This is something you couldn't do in Tulsa. I'm
trying to remember how many books we've been. Somebody press 1 if y'all know. All these books have been proving everything this brother is showing y'all right now. Every book we've been reading for the last, I don't know how long, but literally the last couple of months, because we've been going over the records and all that. How many times have we seen that they have done? I forgot what I was saying. I hate when I lose my thought. I was trying to send this story to my damn self, doing 3 things at once. I'm sorry, y'all. But either way, how many times have we seen? I'm
taking that shit. You see, in our banks, we control the banks. You see what? No,
the banks. Her being able to have the dude having the conservatorship over her, right? Now, with him having that conservatorship over her, remember the marriage put you into it. Now in the books, if you guys remember specifically, it's been showing you that they take them and they marry them. They did a whole bunch of things. Some of them they put off in the damn woods. They probably killed them off. Who knows what else they was doing? Like I said, there's so many stories we don't even know about because we ain't even read enough things. But when it comes to it, they was doing all of this, right? So they would take her, and this is how they assumed the control over the land. Just like the guy he talked about. Now they have all these different the different oil companies that was going on, right? Hey, Rue just read something. I don't want to rewind it, but he's read something where it said it was all these different oil companies, blah 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 blah. But nobody was millionaires. There was so many that was getting some money, but they weren't getting their money. She had the most land because she had Indian land. This is important.
Marco's telling us how to spend our money.
Like they trying to do.
You see what I'm saying? But this goes to show you they know that they
told. What? Ain't they trying to do that now? They trying to pimp y'all with this Snyder money. Y'all want to get pimped again. First, y'all want to get pimped with fiat. Now y'all want to get pimped this way. Lord, it always happened. This is the same damn story. 100 years later, a new damn plan. How's it gonna work this time? Now it's gonna work on you, huh?
We're dealing with the Seminoles. Remember, the black Seminoles, especially articulated in the Encyclopedia Britannica, let you know that they were the fiercest warriors in the Seminole Wars and stuff. But we already know this. We know that it just was black people. We're not going to argue this. We're going to stick to what the Blancos saying with their narrative, but still be able to dissect and break apart what he's saying just by making it all make sense, right? So let's continue to keep going down in this article. Very powerful stuff. The November 22nd, 1905 Glenpool oil field discovery made headlines worldwide, attracting established exploration companies, new venturers, and a host of service companies, with daily production soon exceeding 120,000 barrels of oil. The field exceeded Tulsa's country's earlier giant, the Red Fort Gusher, and even the incredibly prolific Spindletop Hill discovery near Beaumont, Texas, 4 years earlier. Okay, so we know who these exploration companies were. We know Rockefeller Oil was one of the biggest ones. So you got to understand this. Around the 1920s, they knew that they had to take action. Remember, the massacres in Osage County in Tulsa took place at the same time. At the same time. But see how they do it, because one, they want to make sure that they control the iconography. They wanted to have you associate.
It wasn't just those two places. It was quite a few other places, guys. Just so y'all know, there were multiple places this happened at the same freaking time. It's so sad and disgusting how they just rampaged over us like we was trash.
The indigenous with these people who were white and bright and damn near white, right? And then when they talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, they want you to act like you see or perceive Tulsa, Oklahoma's destabilization as a race riot, right? Like some black dude, a young black man was in an elevator with a white woman and talked crazy to her and tried to assault her. And then that's what caused the riots. And they had doctors and lawyers and dentists and stuff. Yeah, it was a town where black people were successful, but they don't mention nothing about oil. They don't mention nothing about oil. All right. And yeah, like
all the gold, black gold.
Yeah, we should be able to sue them for that damn movie, telling them damn lies, right? And you'll notice in the movie, because I know Sis seen the movie.
I think about that.
When it's a scene where there's an explosion, they blew up one of the Leonardo DiCaprio character. Matter of fact, the one thing I can do is bring up the photograph so you can see the actual women, right? And they look rough. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. It would be one of them situations where you taking one for the team because, but anyways, I digress. I ain't trying to, make. But
not right.
What happened was there was an explosion, and when she ran out there, Leonardo DiCaprio's character is her husband. He plays her husband, and the Indian woman who's one of the main characters, obviously, she's the wife of Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Okay, yeah, she was a pair.
When they're running down the house, I cannot bullshit you not. She says, it's just like Tulsa. It's just like Tulsa. She repeats it twice. And these Blancos had to tell us the truth because it's just the way that they tell it, right? That they're going to compartmentalize it and obviously gloss it up and stuff. But she was like, it's just like Tulsa. All right. Now, what's so incredible about this, the meat of this is that how they were killing these Indians besides outright murder was through diabetes. And mind you, when diabetes first came out, they were like, they treated it like AIDS. They was like, Leonardo DiCaprio's character was like, my wife has that diabetes, right? So when the Blanco came to these Indian women or the indigenous, they were feeding them their food and they were dropping like flies from diabetes. The main character who plays the wife of one of the main characters who plays the wife of Leonardo DiCaprio, she had died eventually from diabetes. Okay, so did her grandmother. I hate to do spoiler alerts, but you should see it just because it's that powerful. You're going to take out some things that I maybe didn't see, but trust me, all of the hidden gems, I was on it. I was on the iconography and I was on everything. So we just talked about sugars. This is why this is so important. And it's a scene in the movie where the doctor tells her,
another thing I want to say, I'm just giving y'all some key stuff because I want y'all to make sure y'all understand how important all this is. Can anybody guess how old Sarah was when she was the first billionaire ever in the United States? The first so-called black, but the first indigenous millionaire in the United States. Anybody know how old she was? Put in the chat. I want to see if anybody can guess how old she was. This indigenous slave this ex-slave with her 40 acres and a mule. They just struck it rich and it was so lucky. But yeah. How do y'all think she was? Let's take a guess. Somebody put in the chat.
Get your leg and your foot's cut off. You can't eat like white people. This is what he tells her.
That part. Close.
Now, mind you, they got it down to such a science to the point where they can consume their alcohol, which we already told you how alcohol is made. Alcohol is made by fermented sugar. We let you know that it's two type of alcohols that they use. Two type of yeast that they use to make alcohol. And these yeast, basically feed off the sugar. And how much sugar they feed off will determine the potency of that beer. Right? Now, if there's sugar left over, that means that's considered a light beer. If it's more sugar left over, there's less alcohol. If there's more alcohol made, then there's less sugar left over, right? It's a science to this. Okay, so we know that beer contains a lot of sugar. We've already went over this in the previous video. We told you that if you drunk a beer that had 96 calories, it has about 24 grams of sugar in it. So it's sugar water. So they brought the sugar water, and it's a very powerful scene where one of the Blanco men with his Indian wife was like, "Oh, are you hungry? Or you don't feel good? Here, eat this." And he offered her some cake. They knew this is the point. This is why this is so deep, because they also exposed the Masons in the movie. Oh, it's gonna get deep. They literally go into the Masonic lodges and all this. This is why if you have not seen this movie, you definitely need to see this movie. You definitely need to see this movie. All right, now. Let's go sidebar for a second. This was so powerful about all this. Me and O was just talking about this. But what's so powerful about all this is you gotta understand.
Grab the link, guys. After this video, I'm definitely going into an important, very, very, very important live. Not a live. It's gonna be private. It's gotta be private because I can't show it on YouTube. I'm gonna get a you know what. So I'm doing it private right after this. Grab the link. I think, do I still got the other page? Hold on. I think I even had the other page open. Let me see. I got it open because it was supposed to start at 9, but I went in it by mistake. So yeah, grab that link.
Their language is about rituals. It's rituals steeped in their language, right? We participate in rituals when we deal with their language. Do you know, and a lot of people know, me and O, like I said, was talking about this, over 25 states still have their Indian names. And we talking about, I'm from Michigan. So like I said, Michigan even in of itself is an Indian name. Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Arkansas, Alabama, South Carolina, North Dakota, South Dakota. The list goes on and on, right? Chicago, these cities, they're all Indian names. Obviously in Michigan, you got Pontiac, you got Kalamazoo, the list goes on and on. Dewajak, all these Indian names. So this is what you got to understand. Think about how deep this is. These Blancos took over this land, but didn't rename it. They still got these, they still perform these rituals, and we're going to get into how deep this is. So keep that in mind. I'm just setting the stage for this because this is deep. They still working through these names because you get a lot of power in the name. Therefore, like you said, you see with the gods. Mind you, when they took over the gods, that you worship, Jesus and all that, they made sure to change the name. They didn't keep Heru, right? They made sure to change the names. So, but when it comes to this land and they see so much energy in it, they know that they have to continuously perform these rituals through these spells. And a big part of spells, obviously, is the language. That's how you evoke energy. When you see magicians and all that different stuff, they say words. They say that the earth was started by the sound. It's about sounds. Okay, in order to get that energy, we told you that they're not only vampires in terms of the blood, but they're emotional and energy vampires on top of that. All right, check. Okay, now, what was also interesting, because I took some notes. What was also interesting, in that movie was when the Indian guy had stated, he said, when they had this meeting, they were in this, the elders were meeting. And then the Indian guy had enough to say, he said, I participated in the Boxers' Rebellion. Woo, this was so, man, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so deep. The Boxers' Rebellion was a rebellion by the Chinese, all right, between 1898 and 1901. So I'm sitting here just in this movie, stunned, right? Because you helped the Blanco go sit up there and undermine the Chinese to take over, to basically disintegrate the Qing dynasty. Because you must remember, at this time, when they collapsed the Qing dynasty, the British took out a lease out on China And from 1898 to 1997, that is a 99-year lease. The British ruled China after they demolished the Qing dynasty. And one of the rebellions was called the Boxers' Rebellion because the Chinese basically were fighting what was anti-foreign, anti-colonialism. They were just against colonialism. They were against the foreigners, and they were definitely against Christianity. So that one was called the Boxers' Rebellion. And the reason why it was called the Boxers' Rebellion was because Chinese martial arts were interpreted by the Westerners as Chinese boxing. So they called it the Boxers' Rebellion. But you had the Japanese, you had the Germans, you had the Russians, you had all of these, these European nations come in and fight together to open up Chinese ports and to demolish the Qing dynasty and their sovereignty and do the same thing that they were doing to them as they were doing all across the globe at the same time. So what's my point that I'm trying to relay to you guys is that these people, this was an assault that was coordinated. The timing and everything was crucial for these Europeans. If you backtrack just a few years or a decade before the Boxers' Rebellion and before a lot of these incidents here in America, you have the 1884-1885 Berlin Conference where they're coming together to split up Africa. So they got a conference in 1884-1885 splitting up the Africa for themselves. They're over there in Asia. Obviously in East Asia, deep East Asia, and they're taking down the Qing dynasty. Then they're over here in the Americas. All right, moving the Indians off their land by the Indian Removal Act in 1830. Oh, they clicking like clockwork. It's clicking like clockwork. Boy, come on now. All right, so I want to show you just as much on. All right, so did we cover that note? We got those notes, right? All right. All right, so I'm gonna go to this article.
Okay, this the link, guys, for the private stream at 10. This is the link.
It's gonna be powerful.
No, it's not. Where is that? I just seen it. The chat moved. What happened? Okay, this is the link for the private stream. This is the link for the private stream, guys. The other one I had to change it because I lost it or something. I don't know what I did.
And I'm gonna show you how deep the rituals go.
But this is it. I just created a new one.
Show you how deep the rituals go. Okay, hold on. All right. So I'm gonna do, obviously, since you guys can't hear me when I try, I'm just gonna show you the article too. I want you guys to see the article. All right.
Let me clarify something for you. I know you might be a little lost in history and truth and reality because obviously you have some discernment issues, dear sir. It's not that they were smarter. They were the slaves, right? They were the slaves, and the Moors, which were the dark Etruscans, they were the ones that had the slaves to do their bidding. They're like their front man. You ever heard of having a front man? So while these black native ass Europeans came here to take over as pioneers men, as Quakers, as frontiersmen, as homesteaders, and marrying our women and blending in, darkening out our races and areas because a lot of our ancestors were lighter. And they came here with their dark black ass skin, start darkening us out because they, I don't know where the darkness came from. They say it's a heightened sense of melanin. I'm not really damn sure. But either way, they came darkening out our races as well. Then the Europeans came in and they started lightening it out, the ones that were copper or darker, mixing and mingling so they could see where they could fit in to make their Asian ass plant themselves as they black seed in the bellies of our women and into their land. Because once they planted in the bellies of the women and took over in their marriages, then they were able to assume their land and property, the allodial titleship, taking conservatorship over the woman, putting her into servitude, So it's not like no Europeans got so smart and did something. You think a few little Europeans that dirty and starving and half of them was sick, couldn't even hardly move or do nothing. You think they really came here and did something? Have you lost your damn mind? I think it's time for your ass to go. Somebody need to get this one out of here because I can't do this. Hold on, wait, let me do it. Kick rocks. Let's do that. For clarification. Let's go. Where we was at? The trailer. Yeah, I think I seen it.
Okay, so I wanted to let you guys, I wanted you to know what I was looking at. Okay, now we're gonna read. Now you know that this Blanco is, is going somewhere with this because he said the title is literally how Native Americans lost their land as Indian territory was carved up. So they must have lost it because he put lost 3 times. Like y'all lost that. Now when you go down here, it's like
they never had no land, bro. They never had
it says this 1892 map depicts the Oklahoma and Indian territories not long after the famous Oklahoma land rush that started April 22nd, 1889, and eventually brought 50,000 white settlers into the area. A significant development in the establishment of the state of Oklahoma. Settlers who had slipped over the border before the rush's official start date to claim land were called Sooners. Oh, why did I say that? Go back, bro. Me and O talked about this. The state of Oklahoma. Settlers who had slipped over the border before the rush's official start date to claim land were called Sooners. Pause. Why did I say that? Me and O talked about this. When you watch college football, do you notice that some of the names are Indian names? They did this with a lot of the so-called professional sports teams and tried to change up the names, obviously, because some people, felt that was, blatantly disrespectful. But the Oklahoma Sooners college team is named after the people who came there and raided the lands. Did you know that?
The disrespect of it all.
Come on, I'm finna listen. I'm trying to see if y'all really feeling that in the chat right there. Do you know that college team is called the Sooners, and the Sooners stand for people who went and claimed land? And then you see this poster right here, it says Grand Rush for the Indian Territory. Over 15 million acres, land now open for settlement. Now is a chance to procure a home.
Yeah, I remember when we did the bill on Nebraska. I'm gonna pull it up for y'all. The Nebraska bill, when they was showing the advertising in the Indian land, 50 million, not 15, but 50 million acres of land in Nebraska. They were singing songs and shit, making songs about how beautiful it was, the sky, the air, the breast, yo, they went crazy when they seen that damn place. Come on now, I'm gonna put it in the chat for you. I'm gonna go get that video.
In this beautiful country, the finest timber, the richest land, the finest water west of the Mississippi River.
Healing waters. Okay. Even healed they dirty ass.
So that's what you have to understand about that. So you've seen, so when we talk about this, we talk about these rituals. These rituals are extremely important to them because even when you take a look at, the other college teams like Kansas and Missouri. Yeah. Okay, I'm finna show you a picture right quick. I'm finna show you a picture, image rather.
These people disgust me.
You're not gonna be able to hear me, but I'm finna share this.
Yeah, bro, it's on it. Fire, straight fire.
Okay, what that was a photo of the Kansas City Jayhawks and the Missouri Tigers. Okay, if you know anything about them college teams, they are, they have a rivalry, right? But do you know what Kansas Jayhawks were? Jayhawks stood for the individuals who did guerrilla warfare on Missouri during the Civil War, because Missouri was a slave state. And I guess Missouri was beefing with Kansas because before Kansas entered the Union, they were disputing on whether or not Kansas should be a slave state or a free state, right? But we know it's deeper than that. We know that really wasn't the case, but this is what the so-called war was over. So the individuals who implemented guerrilla war tactics over in Missouri, they were called Jayhawks. It was called jayhawking. Okay? Now, It just to prove my point, to show you that they do this with their rituals. I have a quote. A University of Missouri professor stated in 1910 that the annual football game is but a continuation of the border warfare of the wars back then. That's what he said. It was literally a continuation of the border warfare of the wars back then. And if you notice that photo, let me give it to you again, and I'll say it before I actually, transfer this, switch over to the screen. It's literally called the border war. These are these college teams. So you see the rituals we see ourselves involved in, and we think that we, and this is how they, like, for instance, I'm going to tell you this, even in Detroit, you see here in Michigan, Detroit's doing pretty well as a football team. Do you know that Henry Ford's oldest son purchased the Lions because Henry Ford was awarded a medal by Hitler himself? Hitler looked up to Henry Ford. Henry Ford was distributing, a magazine here in the United States and abroad, talking about how devilish the Jew was, how the Jew needed to be exterminated. This is Henry Ford. He hated Jews and Catholics, but we know about the name, so let's not get too deep. Let's look at the surface level stuff. This is the history. He hated Jews and Catholics. And do you know that his oldest son purchased the Detroit Lions on the day that Kennedy was assassinated, because Kennedy was a Catholic president, first Catholic president? He purchased the Detroit Lions on November 22nd, 1963. Listen. All of this stuff is rituals. And if you notice, they will never intend for the Lions to win, because the people who purchased the team, remember, the big symbol of the Jews is the Lion of Judah. I think I'm killing you, nigga. I am killing you, niggas.
You killing them, brother. Hold on.
The symbol.
Who? Wait a minute. Hold on, brother. I swear y'all ain't even watched this video yet, because I said I'm gonna wait till I do the review. I promise y'all. Y'all know I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I hope y'all know I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I have not watched this video. Who remember me showing y'all that we just went over this shit with the Lion of the Judah, and we was talking about the Judah, and I just put it on my page about the lions, and I said all of the lions, they took everything with the lions, everything with the lions, with the panther. We just was talking about this shit the other night, in the real panther, which is in the jaguar, and the lion, the real lion here, and they put this lion, which is the lion of Judah. I ain't saying shit.
For the Jews is the Lion of Judah. Judah was Jacob's fourth son. And he described him as a lion.
When I tell y'all, the ancestors be on point with all the stars are just like coming together. Like, oh, we just got to come and glow and shine and show how powerful we are, and we just are so great and we're so wonderful. Yo, it's a group of us, bro. With it. When I tell y'all we've been seeing, he didn't even talk to me about this build. I just seen the build he did. And I was like, oh, bro, I'm going to do a review on your build. You know what I'm saying? We got to get your channel up over 1,000, because they definitely don't be wanting your info out, So that's kind of what this was about. And you feel me? Y'all already know how he spit. I ain't even got to promote him. He promoted himself with the info. But do y'all see how in sync the brother is? Damn near, he done talked about, what, 2 things we've been on already? On something, he's spilling it, like breaking the shit down about the things we've been talking about as well, totally on other shit and tying shit together. This young brother's so bright. I appreciate it. I swear, I love our young men that be studying, doing their work, really putting in. Man, we got to give them their praises while they're here. Let's go.
And that's how they took on this. I'm just telling you what the book of Genesis has said and all this different stuff, right? And also, I think it's quoted in the book of Revelation. But the point being is that the lion is their symbol, right? We also know how Haile Selassie and the Ethiopian Empire had the lion as a symbol too, as well, because they claim that they were direct descendants from King Solomon, right? King and Queen Sheba. Okay, So that's how that all came about. But you have to understand this is extremely important. They know about symbols, right? So all of these things that they do, I'm telling you, the Lions will never win because it's important for them to get bad energy on their symbols. This is all about symbol warfare, brother. Symbols. Remember, like I told you, what Joseph Campbell said, the world is ruled by signs and symbols, and most people are symbol illiterate.
Alchemy.
We already know. We talked about the Seminoles. What team has taken up that? Florida college team, Florida Seminoles.
And the sugar the brother was just talking about, right? Remember, I keep telling y'all that sugar and the salt, and thinking about that too in the symbols. So those are the crystals. Those are different crystals than you have. Those are square cubes. It's something about that cube. Even when it comes to no, I was gonna go somewhere. That's a build I gotta wait on because y'all gonna be bugging. But the cube, when it comes to that cube, right, it's something particular in that shape that goes against you because you are a crystal. Like a diamond shape, inside two diamonds together like this way. You know, you're like a diamond, and the cube shit don't fit you. It ain't for you. But either way, salt, sugar, they're both cubes, and neither of them are great for you. Only natural salts, rock salt, you know, purple, pink salt. You know, these things are good for you. Okay.
Florida runaway slaves. This shit is deep.
So deep.
All right. So we got to, man, this, like I said, man, this stuff is fire. You got to know these things. This stuff is real deep, brothers and sisters. It's real deep.
Yes, yes.
All right. Now, let me go to
see this.
Let me go to another.
Now make sure y'all.
Let me go to another because what's so important in that movie too is that they disclose Masons. You know, when Leonardo DiCaprio's character and Robert De Niro's character, because Robert De Niro plays the uncle to Leonardo DiCaprio, he's the one who invites him over to this Indian reservation, right? And he basically, you know, gets him to, you know, to be like, okay, well, yeah, what women do you like? You know, if you pick some women here, because they knew they set it all up, right? And so he's like, when Leonardo DiCaprio tries to make money on the side by getting another Indian to actually steal his car and get the insurance money and all that different stuff, his uncle catches wind of it and they go into a Masonic lodge. I can't make this shit up. They go into a Masonic lodge and he paddles this motherfucker. He whips him with a paddle. All right. And even when the Indians go to the doctor or they go to the bank, it's these Masonic symbols. They let him know. Why is this significant? We're about to pull up an article and show you why this is significant. Why this is significant. Okay. All right, hold on. I got it, brothers and sisters.
Y'all see why YouTube be keeping them out the algorithm, don't you? Yeah. Y'all see why YouTube be trying to keep them out the algorithm. They ain't right.
Okay. I'm finna show you what article I'm reading from because I can't, obviously the volume is cut. So basically I'm just gonna show you the article so that you have it as a resource too as well, because that's our job, right? To make sure that you have this stuff as a resource too. Okay. So you see that article is The Strange History of Masons in America from Politics and History. Okay. Now, I scroll down. It says, often the subject of conspiracy theories, Masons captured the allegiance of much of the early elite, American elite. Okay. It says, take out a dollar bill, United States currency, that is. Look at the back on the left side. Granted, as much space as the American eagle symbol on the right is a seeing eye in a pyramid placed there for no apparent reason. But for those in the know, the eye above the pyramid is a Masonic symbol produced by a secret society which has influenced American history from its beginnings. In Masonic lore, the pyramid symbol is known as a sign of the eye of God watching over humanity. But see, even in this article, see how they take over the idea of the symbols. This is the point that I'm also proving to you in this article. Mind you, this is a double-edged sword in terms of how we build conceptual framework. We're not just looking at this to learn about Masons, but look at the concepts behind it. They're saying that the pyramid is a Masonic symbol. The pyramids is in Egypt, bitch. Them Europeans ain't from Africa. You see, so you gotta watch this Blanco while he's telling you shit because he's a forked tongue. Man, come on, stop it. Let's continue.
Say it. I will.
The Masons have both been criticized and praised for their influential role in U.S. history. George Washington reached the top level of Masons on August 4th, 1753, securing the leadership of the influential lodge in Alexandria, Virginia. Washington was not only alone among the founding fathers. Some scholars say as many as 21 signers of the Declaration of Independence were Masons. Many historians note that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights both seem to be heavily influenced by the Masonic civil religion, which focuses on freedom, free enterprise, and a limited role for the state. In Europe, the Masons were known for plotting against royal governments. In America, they became known for promoting republican virtues of self-government. Masonic thought influenced American history. The Masons were opposed to the claims of royalty, a strong influence on the development of the American revolt against the British, which culminated in the Revolutionary War, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we know that they sweetening this shit up. Okay, so we're going to get to the meat of this. Okay, now, I'm gonna get to the meat of this because this is all right. All right. So after the anti-Mason backlash grew, abolitionists like John Brown rallied against the often pro-slavery Masons. Prominent figures, including John Quincy Adams, a former president and former Mason, and publisher Horace Greeley, joined in the widespread castigation. Future President Miller Fillmore called Masonic orders nothing better than organized treason. In 1832, an anti-Masonic party ran a one-issue candidate for president. He captured Vermont's electoral votes. So why is this important? We have to understand that the first third party of the United States was literally called the anti-Masonic party. That's how devious they thought these individuals were. The first third party in the United States history was called the anti-Masonic party. Did you know that? Did you know that? So what's the point? Why am I relating that to the movie? Because you also see in the movie, notice the energy now, what's going on with everything and all these conflicts. In the movie, the Indians call Leonardo DiCaprio's character a greedy Jew and a dirty Jew. That's what they call him. A greedy Jew.
He was a Jew. Ah.
Okay.
Letting it all out.
We ain't got to say the rest. We know what's going on. But the point being is that when you see these individuals who, put forth this effort to, characterize themselves as individuals who come and as benign individuals, you know what I'm saying? But we know that they're wolf in sheep's clothing. When you see Robert De Niro's character, he's the uncle. He's this rich, powerful Mason. This rich, powerful Mason in this movie. And the thing is, like, even when they, the Indian tribe started to catch wind that these murders that are happening, some's got to be, something's up. Our people are being exterminated out here, right? So what happens is he even starts to say, oh, yeah, I'll even put up $1,000 or $2,000 so we can catch this killer. And he and Leonardo DiCaprio are doing all the murders. Okay, all along, they're the ones doing this, but then marrying into these people, feigning this allegiance to these people, but killing off their sisters and brothers and mothers and shit. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Showed you that they were purely diabolical.
Evil.
Purely diabolical. And, to add insult to injury, the lady was it shows you how our people are conditioned. She, at the end, was still clinging to hope in some way, like you could see it in her face, and showing that she loved him, that she wanted to, the children are doing well and all this different. This man was literally killing you, poisoning you with this insulin.
Didn't I tell y'all? What I told y'all a couple of weeks about the Pocahontas story, this romanticized ass lie that they done told about one of my ancestors, actually. They said they poisoned her, just what the brother's saying. Remember, I told y'all that they poisoned her. They married her off. She was a pawn. She was forced to marry him. They tried to, they fell in love. That fake ass story. That's a damn lie. She was married off, and then they poisoned her off. When he took her away. When she got ready to come back home to see her dad, and she wanted to let him know what was going on with her. I'm pretty sure. Soon as she came back, she get ready to come back home. She mysteriously died right before she come home. So they killed her right before she left, right? I'm going to say it. That's what happened. like they did many of them. Just what he's explaining now, all facts.
They just came out with that they were extracting from a cow's pancreas. Okay, a cow's pancreas. That's where they were extracting this new insulin from because this diabetes was decimating them.
That's right.
Okay, this man helped to blow up your sister's house, killed your sister and your sister's husband inside the house. The explosion was so big that the mattress was found in a tree. I can't make this shit up.
True.
They were still finding her sister body parts when investigators were coming the next day.
Sick.
That's how big the explosion was.
That was true. That was going on.
This man participated in killing her family, and she still had compassion for him. If this ain't,
they got. I know he like. Oh, he probably want to say so much. He be trying to be good on YouTube. Man, he like me. I gotta learn. But listen, imagine that. They was doing this to people all over, y'all blowing them up. If they didn't blow them up, they burnt them out or flooded them out. Keep that in mind because we know the story about the flooding. All over 50-something damn towns they flooded out that all had gold mines in them, right? Gold mines, silver mines, minerals, crystals. Yeah, right?
I mean, what do they call that? Stockholm Syndrome 101. I don't know what is. If that wasn't Stockholm Syndrome 101, I don't know what is.
Exactly.
I'm telling you. Sovereign Energy said, I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so when we take a look at those things, that's one of the things that I wanted to do for you guys was exploit that. Now, remember when I told you how I knew that, some people say, oh, you reaching, yeah, they might have shouted out Tulsa in the movie, but what's this connection? How can you make this connection? Oh, we'll just bring up the weight. We'll just bring up the article.
Yeah, bring up the proof on it, brother. Show them. Because they don't believe it, they in doubt. And if you in doubt, let's check it out. That's my motto. I'll show you. We don't got to just talk about it. We can show you. Therefore, the proof is in the
We'll just bring up the article.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, make sure. Make sure this is the right one.
And the only reason they let you know about Sarah Rector, they want to act like, oh, there was this one little black girl, this little ex-slave that was so rich. It was many of them. Okay. Most of those 400 oil tycoons the brother talking about, they weren't.
Because they got a couple of them. When you look up this, when you Google this, it'll pop up. Okay. Why doesn't it?
They were not. I can't wait to do this story on Sarah. Definitely got to do that now.
Hold on, brother.
They playing themselves, trying to make a Flower Moon story out of the life and theft of all her shit. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness! Now look at this shit tripping. Look at this shit tripping.
Pull it up.
Come on, man. Y'all okay? Y'all, let me see what this article says.
20-something minutes.
Let me type this up again. Let me type this up again. I'll put the date in on your ass. What you talking about? Y'all finna see this. Now this is what to show you. This is what's gonna show you that this is crazy. Now I'm finna just show you the symbolism and stuff too. We're about to see this. Yeah, they did. Giselle said, Giselle 618 said they went out with the bang with that insult. And it was so deep how they was trying to hold this, hold it up. So I'm finna show y'all since y'all can't hear me. Yeah, I know that the sound goes out when I show it. That's why I don't speak when I show y'all the article. I'm just gonna show y'all the article and then I'm gonna go back and read it. All right, but I want y'all to see this article. That way, when it's on the video, you can take your notes, you can screenshot it. You can have these resources available for yourself because this is what this is all about.
All right, so let me share my screen so y'all can see the article. You're not going to be able to hear me. Okay, so you saw that the Oklahoman parallel tragedies, killers of the Flower Moon, Tulsa race massacre started 3 days apart. 3 days apart. Okay. So it says 3 days later, the Tulsa race massacres. Mind you, they don't want to associate oil with Tulsa. Tulsa race massacres began. The 2-day riot brought on white supremacists is now considered one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history. Both sets of tragedies put a spotlight on white people using violence in Oklahoma to seize wealth owned by minority populations. Oklahoma's oil boom. Osage gained wealth. Black Wall Street prospered. This is deep. The discovery of oil in Osage Nation's reservation gave the group a key to growing wealth, but oil was also found closer to Tulsa at Glenpool in 1905. How do we know this? Because we just read the article. So we already know this. So it's going to go on and show you that the FBI in these articles, it talks about how the FBI seen the connection. The FBI seen the connection, but didn't do shit about it. You sent a few people to prison, like, but at the end of the movie, it showed you that them guys got out. They were supposed to be given life sentences and then got out. You see what I'm saying? And look at Oklahoma now. Look at our people. So when people talk about Tulsa receiving reparations and the last living descendants of the, or the people who lived in Tulsa during that time wanting reparations, they wouldn't be able to even repay you. They know that. You see what I'm saying? Because I told you guys before that the energy sector is the biggest sector in anybody's economy, because if you can't supply energy to businesses, if you don't have energy or can't provide energy to your citizens, then your nation is not only in turmoil, it will be in utter disarray and dysfunction, because energy is how you're able to not only take care of yourself by having the lights, energy, and heat and AC and all that different stuff, being able to transport yourself to a job, to go get food and all that different stuff. It's also, critical to, keeping a nation together. All right. Plain and simple. That's why the energy sector is bar none either controlled by the government, or it puts out this image that companies control it themselves and the government's just back making sure that they do everything right. We know that's how, the United States does it. We know the government is directly involved in controlling the telecommunications industry. So when you go back to even what it talked about in Tulsa, Oklahoma in that article, when it said that they had telephone lines and stuff like that, you must remember the government now at this point in time leases out the telephone lines to the telecommunications industry, or leases. They control the telecommunications industry. Ask anybody that. Verizon, all of that. They lease those lines of communication from the federal government. Now,
but because they owe you mineral rights, that's why they're supposed to be responsible for the public utilities that we tell you guys about, right?
Sidebar. Do you know that 98% of communication is through underwater sea cables? But if you watch movies again, like with the Blanco, and you continue to keep letting them lie, they act like they're communicating via satellites. Look this up. 98% of our communication is through underwater sea cables. Not this sci-fi shit, because the Blanco's not a god. The Blanco cannot master what it is that you have been entitled to master since you got here, because you are a carbon being. That is what you need to know. You see what I'm saying? So, ultimately what we're talking about here, man, is that, in a nutshell, and I wish this was able to grow, to flow smoothly and stuff, because this was the most important thing. I wanted to get these ideas out here. I thought it was extremely important for us to understand those things, because when you're dealing with someone who does these, and people always ask me, okay, it says like, oh man, seem like you're divisive. And I always say this because I want to get this point clear. I want to make it clear. Like, people really think that I'm at somebody's throat or head simply because I just ain't got nothing else to do or better to do. I tell people, when you understand the science, and then you actually understand, how coordinated these efforts have been, and that the timing was critical. You see what I'm saying? That you begin to realize, like, these people are ultimately nefarious in this regard. Listen, I'm going to show you something else. I got to show you something else too, because it's one movie. If you haven't seen this, I don't know how many of you guys have seen Rabbit Proof Fence. Put ones in the chat if any of you people have seen, if any of you brothers and sisters have seen the Rabbit Proof Fence. All right. Rabbit proof fence. Okay. See what comes up. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna show my screen right quick just to show y'all exactly what the resource is, and then obviously I'm gonna offer up my commentary. So I'm gonna show y'all this article right quick, so just so you know what the resource is. Okay. Okay, so that's the rabbit proof fence. This is based on a true story. These articles are from a site called Based on a True Story, and this was called Rabbit Proof Fence. It says that and this is a transcript, part of the transcript. This transcript is automatically generated. There will be mistakes, so please don't use them for quotes. It is provided for reference use to find things better in the audio. So you can't, use all these quotes, but what you can use for quotes is what they put in quotation marks, okay? In 1927, Dr. Cecil Cook said, quote, everything necessary must be done to convert the half caste into a white citizen, okay? The term half caste was used during Dr. Cecil's time for the mixed race people in Australia, more specifically those with one Aboriginal parent and one white parent. In most cases, the white parent was a father who had children outside of marriage, often by way of what amounted to rape. As with all too often in the early 20th century, the white government saw other races as subpar to their own, as you can probably understand. The term is considered quite offensive for many people today, so I'm going to avoid using them from here on out. Now, this is so deep. You always got to understand that these Blanco always be spitting that mayonnaise, because if we were inferior, why would you want to breed with us? If we were inferior, why would you want to breed with us? Dr. Umaron, if we were inferior, why would you want to breed with us? We know that Australia is the site of the #1 place of skin cancer. Australia is the #1 location for skin cancer, right? But they know what they did. The grind is more important than anything, to get that bloodline. Remind you, according to Blanco data or Blanco research or documents, remember, as I showed you the article for this, when they came upon the Aborigines, this was their first time coming in contact with what they call golden blood, the rarest blood on earth. The rarest blood on earth. And if you notice in this movie too, that we're talking about Killers of the Flower Moon, they talk about how, they're full-blooded, they're this, that, and the other. Now, this was so deep. Let's end on this. This is very powerful. They came there and killed them with this disease called diabetes, which, if you notice, is the #1 metabolic illness on the earth. Diabetes is the #1 metabolic illness on this so-called planet, right? So when they were burying their dead, they would put an apple, 2 apples or an apple on top of the casket. This was so, and I caught that symbolism deep, because remember when we talk about sugars? Sugars are hormones, this natural energy given to them by the sun, right? In crystal formation. All right, we've expounded on that many times over, right? So they literally died, like symbolically. They were telling you that.
Madam C.J. Walker, that's not true, Swiss. No, Madam C.J. Walker was way later. This woman was a billionaire by the age of 10 years old in 1920. Madam C.J. Walker came way after her. She probably, maybe because she was in the beauty industry or something of the sort, but I just saw that in the chat. I just want to clarify. Sarah, you can look it up. Sarah Barton, the first black, they're going to say black, so just look it up like that. Sarah Barton. Sarah Rector, the first black billionaire. It's going to show you. All right, let's go.
We literally had given away our connection to Mother Earth. We literally had given away what makes our bloodline so elite, which is the taking in of natural sugars or natural crystals. All right? Which is the taking in of natural crystals, because we already substantiated to you that you have to know that glucose is a crystal. Matter of fact, Matter of fact, let me go to this right quick. I got to show you guys this. You want to know what vitamin D looks like? Vitamin D are literally colorless crystals. They color them for this, and you have two types of vitamin D. One called ergocifferol, and one is called cholecalciferol. Right? Cholecalciferol is vitamin D3. Ergocifferol is vitamin D2. Vitamin D2 comes from plants. Vitamin D3 comes from the sun, directly from the sun to us. It interacts with our cholesterol in our skin, transforms it to vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is responsible for doing what? Making sure that we're able to utilize calcium, magnesium, manganese, these metals, because you must remember that calcium is a metal in the periodic table of elements. Let's move on. Let's show you exactly what calcium or vitamin D3 looks like. Remember, it is a crystal. Here you go, brothers and sisters. See, I can't make this shit up. See, if I wasn't going to show, if we didn't provide the evidence, if we didn't let you know that when we call ourselves the crystallogians, that's not a name that we made up, that's the name that the Europeans gave us, then everybody would think we off here rambling off on pseudoscience. Everybody would think we out here making stuff up. And nothing could be further from the truth. When I was on Sistar channel, which they took that video down because she showed the crystals. They're called selenite crystals. You can look this up. Selenite.
Did you not? Real talk. Anybody that didn't see that video, it is back up. Oh my gosh, he's not lying. I had to literally, it took all day for me to figure out what was going on. I couldn't find it at first. As soon as I found the video, I put it under members only. So at least my members could see it. Went back and I said, let me check the studio. Go into the studio. It kept saying yes, blah, blah, blah. And it gave me some type of option to trim the video. I was like, oh, so it said copyright. It said it's blocked everywhere. It didn't say like in a certain country. It said it's blocked everywhere. I'm like, why would this video about crystals be blocked? Because what? It was so powerful and it gave out so much information. Oh my gosh, y'all, that video was crazy. And as soon as we played the video, the brother went right into what we was already talking about, but he went more into the crystal and the energy and stuff, and it showed why that cave was so important. The people couldn't even take it because their radiant body wasn't equipped for that type of energy. And they thought they could go in that crystal cave for something that a crystal being would go in to get healed. Then you understand. So soon as I trimmed the video and took that out, they let me put it public. So now the video is back up, you guys. If you haven't seen it, you need to definitely go back and watch it. Peace, love, and bliss. Let's go.
Elenite. They're these huge, massive crystals, right? And it was so hot in there that the humidity was so high that, when humidity's high, you can't release the water in your body because water holds heat. How you cool down, how the brain cools down is by sweating. It'll trap the heat in the water, and that's why you sweat. But if it's so hot and you can't release the water, you'll literally collapse and die, not being able to release that heat because the brain will overheat. Okay? The brain will overheat. All right? So they literally had to take, NASA had to literally take, them put themselves in these suits, modify themselves. But imagine if the crystallogians were in there. This is one of the primary reasons why I tell us, brothers and sisters, that we got to get our children, we got to get ourselves scientifically inclined. Because what if we were those geologists, those archaeologists, etc.? We would be able to be and experience these things firsthand. Because we know that by virtue of us not being interested in it, one, and that by virtue of them also not, making sure that we are not able to get into these areas, in significant numbers, we don't have access to the very things that can help also influence us in different ways, right? That's why I think for the most part, it is about us tapping into self. It encourages us to tap into self more. But let's just think critically for a second how much we will be able to turn over that new leaf if we're able to have access to these energy sources. Okay, but the first way we do that is understanding what these energy sources are. Vitamin D3 or vitamin D is not a vitamin. It is a hormone. Look that up. Vitamin D is not a vitamin. It is a hormone, and it is also a crystal. But like we said before, and I've said this many times, if they put hormone D in your milk or hormone D on the package of your orange juice or hormone D on anything else that you were eating, you might not eat it. you might not eat it. So they understood that, remember we said that the primary responsibility of a crystal or sugar is to bond with other crystals. Hence you have glucose, that's maltose. That's what they make beer out of. You have glucose and fructose. That's called sucrose, right? That's your table sugar from the man's synthetic form, but that's also natural sugars in vegetables and fruits. You have glucose and galactose. That makes lactose. That's the mother's milk. Sugar comes together, makes these crystals. These crystals act as hormones, and these hormones are what builds you and gets you to the level of puberty, which in turn after that level is supposed to be the level of the highest or the highest level of illumination, which is the enlightenment we search for now. All right, that's what you need to know. This is deep stuff, brothers and sisters. I should call you crystallologists.
And I tell y'all other ways to get there, but we won't go.
So my crystallologists.
I say it too much.
I say all that to say this, that when you take a look at these movies, now that you know that the Osage were given that land, they purchased that land from the so-called Creek Indians, who the so-called Seminoles are also, lumped into that category. They bought that land from them. They stayed 20 miles away from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and just so happened that these massacres were 3 days apart. But they compartmentalize that history by letting you know, the Osage, they were rich. Oh, they had all of this money and power. But Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was a race massacre. That had nothing to do with the oil. Oh, they just so happen to be called the oil capital of the world. That their sports teams is how they continuously replay these rituals. That the vast majority of these states still have their Indian names. And if the Blanco, the Blanco knows about ownership, because the big part of ownership is whose name is it? If you got a house, how you determine ownership is if your name is on the deed.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So if this Blanco owns the United States, why didn't he change the names? Why didn't he change the names of the states? Because he knows that it's energy through the blood that he shed.
And to clarify too, I've talked to you guys about this. This is important to understand. The reason that the name was changed as well is because it took it out of township. The township goes back to the heresy, which is the surname. This is why the marriages were important. When you marry someone, this is why when you marry a person, you take the man's name. It takes it out of the woman's name. I just read to you guys in the book of law, it told you that in the Indian woman had the ownership of the land and the house. It told you the Indian woman. Y'all remember? Do I need to find which book that was and pull it back up again? It did say that, remember? It told you specifically. I wanted to make sure you guys understood that. It's important to know that that was what happened. So with the woman having the ownership of the land and the house, when she married them, it gave them the ownership. So now they have the heresy. With changing things and building and creating and reconstructing, then now they can put their name on the ownership because they own the property that they took from the wife when they took the conservatorship from her. Now they are the persons that have the control over, just because of the change of the name. It goes from the township now until what they created and reconstructed for the town and creating states, right? Because the township, remember town, T-O-W-N-E, look this up, T-O-W-N, let me put it in the chat for y'all too. T-O-W-N-E goes to the surname. And TOWN is now under statehood. Statehood names that were created when they so-called founded or were the founders of, which you can't find shit that's already there. What's wrong with these damn people?
Energy vampire. Not just with plasma, but the emotional energy that we release. Because when you release emotional energy, what is emotions? Hormones. What are hormones? Crystals. I am killing you niggas. Okay? So, I hope you guys, I wanted to get that out. Yeah, I'm going to put my Cash App is actually, because listen, you guys, listen. I know before I leave, what I want y'all to do, I just got, 2 of the intros done, which is our logo intro for the FOS squad. Shouts out to the FOS squad, right? And we also have the outro done. So I want you guys to stay to take a look at that, because remember, I told you that the primary way that we take back ourselves is by not waiting on the Blanco to teach us about ourselves, right? Teach us about our history. We have to condition ourselves, you know, to be in a belief, or to be under the you know, be under the thought process, or be involved with the thought process that it's us who have to give these images to our children and to ourselves. Right. We have to recapture our identity. No longer should we be sitting around here debating with Blancos about who the Egyptians, the Olmecs, the Aztecs, the all these different things, et cetera, et cetera. We ain't got to debate with them. We know the truth. Why are you sitting up here talking and debating with a liar? That everything, like me and Old say, the only time they're not lying is when they're eating and drinking. Okay? Exactly. You're dealing with the father of the lie. They can't wait to lie. Okay. Let me see. You see what I'm saying? So we shouldn't even be waiting on that. We shouldn't even be trying to convince them we were the Egyptians. We should be convincing them by becoming the Egyptians. We shouldn't be trying to convince them that we were the Olmecs. We should convince them by becoming the Olmecs. And so one way we do that is, like I said, we recapture that. My Cash App is going to be in the end of the, you know, the second video, but you guys stay tuned for this second, you know, for this outro, because I had you guys in mind that we're going to be a powerhouse. Sorry for the delays and the volume. YouTube had sent me a strike with the, you know, the photo that I had, and the They Are a Plague. That's why I couldn't go live. So I had to wait. They had to wait. I couldn't stream. They wouldn't allow me to stream for 45 minutes or an hour, or however long that was. So that's what that was all about. So then after I found out I could stream, that, and they would allow, you know what I'm saying, through my streaming service.
Okay, brother, I'm pull it up.
After I was allowed to stream, then that's when you know, we was up and rolling, we was up and rocking. So I mean, they didn't, you know, totally mess this up, but we could have done without all of the hangups and all of the interruptions and stuff like that. But I appreciate you guys, you brothers and sisters, you crystalogists, for hanging around, staying locked and loaded and stuff. Because this is extremely important information. But I wanted just to lay the groundwork with this. I wanted to let you know how important this stuff was, especially when we're talking about these crystals, right? Being the crystalogians. They knew that, they mastered that. These people, they say that the Osage primarily dealt with maize or corn. Remind you that they make their crystals, a lot of their sugars, from corn, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, what they would give you in the hospital is an artificial form of glucose, okay, to mimic glucose. Their beer are 2 glucose molecules put together called maltose. That's why people are extremely addicted. That's why the Indians got addicted to the liquor. We all heard about Indians drinking like a fish or drinking like an Indian, right? Because they began to be addicted to the glucose because they wasn't getting it from any other source. Like I told you, this Blanco was sitting around, running around like.
We got to get the brother up to the 1,000, guys. He got to get his channel popping for real. The YouTube playing with him. They took his channel, stole his channel before. He had over 6,000. They stole his channel, and now we're trying to get him up to at least 1,000 because they're trying to mess with his algorithm. Y'all know how they was doing me for the longest. Finally, did a little release on me recently, and I've been getting a few more people that can tune in, but y'all know y'all been having to resubscribe and all that. So y'all know how the games they play. So let's get our brother up. Let's go.
He just met those Indians like that was the first time he ran into them. No, we know from historical documents you guys was interacting with the indigenous people in the 15 and 1600s. Okay? You indoctrinated them with your religion and then your food and your institutions. That's why you see her so high strung on this Blanco, and she couldn't separate herself from him. She had Stockholm syndrome with nuclear power activation. She was just all wrapped up into this Blanco, even though she knew that this Blanco, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, was responsible for killing her sister and her grandma and everybody else around her. That's deep to me. But that's not too far from how niggas think, right? How many times have they bombed our churches, kill us in mass, and we sit back and like, you know, maybe he'll change. He'll get it together. The Blanco will get it together.
Imagine that.
You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, you know what we like to end it with, right? We like to end it with
fire, bro.
This.
Come on, bro.
Which is, who is God? God is the judge. And why is she the judge? Because she decides who wins and loses, not my opponent. Who is my opponent? He doesn't exist. And why does he not exist? Because he is merely a dissenting voice to the truth I speak. Brothers and sisters, Christologians, speak the truth and stay tuned for this amazing outro. And like you said, if you guys want to donate to, you know, to keep the FOF squad going, trust me, all this money really does go back into the channel. You see, I invest in myself too, so Obviously, we're not playing around with this, and our
Brother,
job is
please
to make
drop
sure
your
that
cash
we
in the
invest
chat.
in each
I
other
looked on
to
the
get
thing
this
and I was
going. We're
dead.
gonna have some book
And I don't
giveaways and stuff
remember it.
like that. So, and then we also have a special guest in a couple of days. I'm gonna let you guys know about who that special guest is shortly. You know, in the post, you know, in the near future. But we're gonna be doing some book giveaways. We're gonna do some exciting stuff. We're gonna have not like open mic night, but it's gonna be like slam poetry. Okay, so this stuff is gonna be live, brothers and sisters. We about to have a real good time. We're gonna expand and let's grow this channel. Let's grow this movement and reach out to our spiritual brothers and sisters. With that being said, salute, Crystallogians.
We're gonna let you hang out with this. Oh, this is my favorite one. Oh Lord. Oh, dude, here I just put it. Let me put it here.
This boy got a hit. Boy got a hit. Boy got a hit. There might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. I'm thinking what this life has to mean to you. And I like to say, why sleep? I was hoping when awake we'll make our dreams come true. Didn't hear me say, love can always count on me. Hey, 'cause I'm always where I'm supposed to be. And now I seen your life change, my life changed when I came and we came together for love. It seems that life's strange, 'cause light came when dark flames had came to come tear up our love. And I don't wanna play no games, no. Just a baby in the day you give me your last name. Oh, there might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
She can't talk with no dry eyes. It's sunsets on that sky ride. Her hands up, no high five. I'm so high, I skydive. My life now feels screwed up. We don't move all we
There
don't
goes
move
that
up.
Jaguar.
Ghost town, 'cause all we do is stay booed up. I can't lose you, I fight back. 'Cause who can give me these nights back? Just arches up in that nice back. She drunk in love with no nightcap. Just come with me and my box cars. Won't take long to see rock hard. Wedding ring, that's rock hard. And long nights when I'm rock hard.
There might come a day when I thought our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
Beautiful. Definitely hit the brother Cash App so he can pay for some more of these visuals. We love to see this type of art. It's just outstanding, y'all. I love it. All right, guys. The brother wanted me to read this to you guys. Okay, this is actually on carbohydrate, right? So you can actually hear the biochemical information. It says carbohydrate, class of naturally occurring compounds and derivatives formed from them in the early part of the 19th century. Formed from them in the early part of the 19th century. Substances such as wood, starch, and linen were found to be composed mainly of molecules that, let's see, why didn't it didn't continue from there? Wait a minute, what happened? Okay, basically of molecules. So basically, carbohydrate. Carbohydrate class of naturally occurring compounds and derivatives, blah, 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 of 19th century. So substances such as wood, blah, 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 mainly of molecules as atoms of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and to have the general. It says diabetes mellitus and metabolic disorders from the article nutritional disease. Diabetes mellitus is a group of metabolic disorders of carbohydrates and metabolism and characterized by high blood glucose levels, high sugar levels, high levels of sugar, crystalline sugar in your bloodstream. So it's so high, it's invading your bloodstream. Hyperglycemia, and usually resulting from insufficient production of, I don't know why. I guess it wants me to hit on each article. Yes. But I'm going to read just, what it's saying up here. Glucose, biochemistry. Glucose, also called dextrose, one of the group of carbohydrates known as simple sugars, which is a monosaccharides, and the glucose from the Greek glikis, which is sweet, has the molecular formula C6H12O6. Now, you hear it says from the Greek glikis, which is sweet. So anything that is that artificial sugar is promoted from the Greek, it's saying. Nutritional storage of algae, as in land plants, the major carbohydrate storage product of the crystal algae is usually starch in the form of amylose or amylopectin. And these starches are formed from starches, and it says algae. So, and you're thinking about plants, that's even you, because you are a crystal being. So that is the formulation of you. And we talk about how that plasma, the brother was talking about the golden blood, that is you. That is you now to this day. They said something about an extinguished race. No, we are the golden blood, the plasma, the light plasma, the true light plasma blood that is trying to be, they've been trying to invade it, demise it, learn from it, grow it, do whatever they can do with it because it's just so fabulous. But it's so organic to us, and the radium or radium is the false ascension of that. So either way. So we see some of these things that are going on when it comes to this fake sugar. Like literally. Okay, let me see. Let me go up here in the chat. Make sure you guys grab the link. Listen, after this, y'all definitely gonna wanna check out this. Let me find it real quick. This link. This is the brother's link once again. Anybody that came in, make sure you also sub up. We got to get the brother up. And make sure you guys grab the link for the private stream. As soon as this ends, I'll be going right over there and get going over there. It's some very important information I'm going to be showing. It's already a little late, so please just come right on there because I'm going to get to it and get right to it. And it's very, very, very important, like really. Some stuff I really think you guys got to check out. Okay, so yes, where were we at? I think we're around here with the yes, 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 pop, pop, pop. That video, fire, fire, fire. We can go all day. All right, yes. All right, I think I got everybody. Empress Awaken. Ask about the song. Yes, ma'am. Peace and bliss, everyone, everyone. Let's see. Okay. Okay, yes, we're down here somewhere. I want to make sure I see everyone. Yes, I love it. Sis, ain't it beautiful? And then those visuals, oh man, you can't go wrong at all. It was so, oh man, I'm sorry, brother. Let me see. And I closed it up. Let me see. I can at least show it real quick. Let me open the page back up. Let me open the tab, please. I think I got too many tabs open now. I just opened something else up. Here I go. Yeah, it won't let me. But yeah, we'll go over next time, brother. Sorry about that. Can you get the song, brother? She said she want the name of that song. I think that's his private sis that he got for his outro. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he said. I don't think it's available online. Chief Hawkeyes. Who banned Chief Hawkeyes? What happened? Was it a mistake? Who banned Chief Hawkeyes in the chat? Me. I did. Okay, so it was a mistake. I'm going to say, who did that? Okay, so how do you unban the person? Oh, Lord. Chief, I don't know what happened. I'll do it. I'm going to have to go into the, I'll go into the thing and do it, Chief. I'm sorry. Oh, Chief, old dude got you. Thank you, old dude. I'm sorry. I don't know how I did that. Sister, I should play it again. Oh, yeah, we could definitely do that now. Hold on, you ain't said nothing. Y'all know how we do over here. We can definitely do it again. All right, let's go. Just the way it come in right there. Oh, man, just so fire. All right, let's go, y'all. Oh, gotta share it. I can't keep it to myself. I'm gonna play it again. I gotta at least share it. Yeah, we gotta get to it's 10. See, I'm supposed to be starting the other live. I'm still starting. Let me go to the other computer and start it real quick while this playing. Let's go.
This boy got a hit. There might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. I've been thinking what this life has to mean to you, and I like to say, why sleep? I was hoping when awake we'll make our dreams come true. Didn't hear me say, love can always count on me. Hey, 'cause I'm always where I'm supposed to be. And now I seen your life change, my life change when night came and we came together for love. It seems that life's strange, 'cause light came when dark flames had came to come tear up our love. And I don't wanna play no games, no, just a baby in the day you give me your last name. Oh, there might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
She can't talk with no dry eyes. It's sunset on that sky ride. Her hands up, no high five. I'm so high, I skydive. My life now feels screwed up. We don't move or we don't move up. I swear life is a ghost town, 'cause all we do is stay glued up. I can't lose you, I'll fight back, 'cause who can give me these nights back? Just arches up in that nice back. She drunk in love with no nightcap. Just comfort me and my block scars. Won't take long to see rock hard. Just a wedding ring that's rock hard, and long nights when I'm rock hard.
There might come a day When life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
All right, guys.
Computer salesman was supposed to report to prison to begin a
All right, guys. So real quick, I forgot. I was just reminded. Let me show you guys my page. Don't forget some beautiful gear, guys. We're about to go over. I did go over there. I have it open. I'm waiting on this acting slow. I might need to get off of there and come in on this one once I get off here with this live. But it is about to be on. Guys, don't forget you can go and you can get you some Sistar Soul gear and your organic pain oil. When I tell y'all I'm not lying, that oil will heal anything. It for anywhere from baby's teething pain to sciatic pain. It removes inflammation, swelling. If you get a cut or a burn, you apply it, it instantly relieves it like kid you not. I'm not even exaggerating about none of that. Okay, let's go. Here we go. We have our organic healing elixir, all natural, 22 herbs and roots only with my healing hands and my actual, I ain't gonna say a ritual, but what I do with it. It gets sun energized and all. These are the t-shirts. My favorite is the hoodies down here, not these. These are nice too, but I love the other hoodie. This is my favorite hoodie right here. Make sure y'all check them out. Black and white, t-shirts in black and white, hoodies in black and white. This one is nice as well. Sistar Soul with the star. These are nice. I love this one as well. Coming, I'm also going to have Soul King gear that's coming up next, and also some things for the children. I'm going to be giving some discounts out for you guys. If you decide that you would like to get some gear, it's going to be, this all goes into what we're doing with our community building. Keep that in mind, guys. Along with the Soul Star Banking, we should have that up and running by next month. So if you guys want to get your accounts, hopefully this week we'll have everything up where you can get your account set up. Okay, so make sure you guys go and check out your girl page. I'm leaving on my favorite one. Make sure y'all go check out your girl page, and if you're interested, definitely make a purchase. Definitely make sure that you get your get you some pain oil. Like literally, that you need to have it around. Period. Like I said, cuts, burns, stuff with your kids. You can you can put in your mouth. Like if you bite your tongue, you like the bump on your lip. Literally, you put it on there, it'll be gone in like an hour. The pain is gone immediately. But yeah, seriously. All right, guys, we're about to get over there. Let me go through the chat. Yeah, that song is so fire, y'all. I mean, I can't even say nothing about it. Nothing but it's fire. Chuck, we about to go to a private stream, brother. I hope you got the link. Grab the link. Let me drop it one more time for anybody that came in or that is coming in and didn't get the link. Let me see. Where is it at? Let me flick it on the clipboard. I believe this is it. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so grab the link, guys. I'm about to get out of here so I can get on over there and get y'all into this important build, like really important. Like, I'm serious, y'all. This is so important. Definitely much love to you guys. You guys already know. Peace, love, and bliss. We're about to get over there in 2.2 seconds. Yes, yes. Here's the link. Grab the link, guys, so y'all can get in to the private stream if you're not going for night right now. Right, bro, that that's my favorite one, OG. That one right there. That one right there. Wait till y'all see the Soul King and the kids ones. Beautiful. You over there now, sis? Okay, here I come, babe. I'm finna come right now. Peace, love, and bless, guys. I'll see y'all in a minute. I'm out.